Greetings everyone, I'm Kevin and today I am going to react to my 2021 reading goals. I am aware that my hair looks a little bit messy. I had a shower earlier and it just hasn't wanted to be tamed. But this was one of the first videos that I made in 2020, actually. I mean, like one of the first videos that I made on YouTube. This was published on my channel on the 31st. So not one of the earliest, so in that way. But I published this video on New Year's Eve, so the 31st of December 2020. And I'm now going to, for the first time since editing this video, I am going to react to it and see did I actually accomplish any of those goals that I set out to do.
Good reading everyone, I'm Kevin and today I'm going to talk to you about my reading goals for 2021.
Oh my god, this intro. I forgot how it looked.
So my first goal for 2021, reading-wise, has to do with the Goodreads challenge. So my aim for 2021 is to read 100 books.
I did read 100. I actually ended up reading 188 books. So very happy about that. So the first goal completed.
My second goal is to read more nonfiction.
Okay, so more nonfictions. Yes, I did read more nonfictions. Did I read a lot of nonfiction? No, I didn't, but I did read more nonfiction, so I guess I completed that one as well. Then third goal.
My next goal has to do with the languages that I read in. So I primarily read in English. So I have as a goal for 2021 to read more books in Swedish, which is my first language, and German, which is my third language. So I want to read more Swedish literature in Swedish, and I want to read more German literature in German, or German translations.
I just felt like German books in German. Like I didn't read a single book that was originally written in German. And then when I said, or German translation, like, thank you, I did do that. Okay, so again, I didn't specify, but I did both of those. So reading more books in Swedish and German. I did read 17 books in Swedish in 2021, and I did read 4 books in German. I have as a goal for 2022 to read 10 books, I think. I should have also said like for 100 books last year. I have as a goal for 2022 to read 120 books. The reason I landed on 120 books is because I have generally in 2021 read between 9 books at least and 27 books at most. So aiming to read 10 books a month, I feel is very doable. So that's why I ended up with 120 books for 2022. When it comes to language, as I said, I read 17 books in Swedish, which is more than I usually do, and 4 books in German, which I want to do more of. So as a goal for 2022, I want to read 10 books in German. It doesn't matter if it's originally in German or translated to German, it counts. Then we continue with the video.
Another goal that I have for 2021 is to read more books that has to do with Holocaust marginalized groups.
Okay, so Holocaust marginalized groups
and Holocaust together is because usually when you talk about the Holocaust, you talk about the Jewish or the queer people or the disabled. That is something that I really want to read more about, the different experiences from these different groups of people. So we have also the Romani were targeted. Everyone who wasn't a white, Aryan, German were targeted.
Okay, so Holocaust marginalized groups, and as I said, it's not Holocaust specific, it's groups that were targeted during the Holocaust. And I did read several books with Jewish protagonists and by Jewish authors, which I've never done to that extent before. And I also read a book by a Romani about a Romani in Sweden. And I also read Sami books, and the Sami were not targeted in the Holocaust, but race biology, which played a big role in the Holocaust. The Holocaust, you can actually say that Hitler was in some ways inspired by what happened in Sweden with race biology and how we treated our indigenous people, the Sami. And so I have read a few books about the Sami by Sami authors. Then what more? Of course, I read queer books, but I've read more books also by Black authors, about disabled characters, about, you know, like disabled characters, Jewish characters, Romani characters, queer characters, Black characters, Asian characters, immigrants, you know, like a lot of different types of people. So I feel like I did complete this prompt. I completely forgot that it was Holocaust marginalized groups. I remember that I had a prompt or a goal that was Holocaust. Maybe I do, or maybe I confused that with this, that I was like, I want to read more books connected to the Holocaust. I don't know, but we'll continue watching.
My next two reading goals are a little bit weird to me.
Oh my god, okay, weird.
To read more female and female-male romances.
I have read 35 female-male romance books. So I feel like I definitely completed that one. But female, I haven't like even thought about that. But I'm gonna check how many I'm gonna check how many books that are sapphic that I did finish or that I did read. According to Goodreads, I have read 23 books, but with a female romance in it, not a romance book specifically. It can be like a science fiction romance or a fantasy romance. A book that I wouldn't, when I look at my spreadsheet, the genre that I put there is the dominant genre. So in some of these 23 books, I put them as another dominant genre, like as I said, fantasy, or maybe even literary fiction, depending on the book. But 23 books have had a female romance in it. So I counted now, and as I said, 35 female-male romance books. So I definitely completed this goal as well. So moving on.
I usually don't read an adult romance, if there's a woman part of it, because reading adult romances includes most likely sex scenes. And as an asexual, I don't want that. But as a trans asexual, it's extremely dysphoric.
I feel like this is an important conversation to have still about the dysphoric aspect. I still do get that sometimes, but after starting testosterone, I do feel like it doesn't bother me as much. And like, even though I did feel like that before, I'm not bothered by it in the same way that I used to. I'm a lot more comfortable with where I am currently than I was when I made this video. This was like half a year before I started hormone treatment, and you can like hear the difference in the voice obviously as well. So it's just a lot of differences, and I'm not bothered by reading adult female relationships anymore. I still usually, when I read an adult romance, if it has a lot of sex scenes, I usually skim the last few sex scenes. Like I can read the first few ones because the first time that two characters have sex in a romance novel, it usually means more, and it's more than just the sex. So I can read that and still like enjoy what the characters are going through. But if it happens like 5 times, I don't read the last 2-3 times. So I'm not the way, like I have grown a lot as a person since making this, and it's kind of baffling to see how much you changed when you don't feel like it's been 1 year. Then we move on to the next one.
The next goal, I think Gavin will be very proud of me because I included middle grade.
Yeah, middle grade. I did read quite a lot of middle grade books.
The next goal that I have has a little bit to do with Holocaust marginalized groups, but this group of people...
Okay, Holocaust again.
They were marginalized in Sweden at the same time and for the same reasons that people were targeted in Germany. This group of people that I'm talking about is the Sami.
So yes, as I said earlier in this video for Holocaust marginalized groups, I did read quite a few books, not quite a few, but like 3 books that were about the Sami experience. So I definitely read more Sami books than I usually do because I had never read a book about a Sami person before 2021, and I read 3 books, and I am actively seeking out more books about the Sami experience. So yes, I complete this goal as well.
Another goal that I have for 2021 is to read more graphic novels.
Yeah, I have definitely read more graphic novels. I own 10 currently, and I have read quite a few mangas as well. Not like I read my first manga in December, but I have read quite a few just now in January. So I definitely completed this goal. So moving on to the next goal.
So my last goal for 2021 that has to do with reading is to read at least 5 books over 500 pages.
At least 5 books over 500 pages. Do you think I did that? This is hilarious because my goal is at least 5 books over 500 pages. I completed 5 books over 500 pages. I'm not very happy about that. Like I read 2 books over 700 pages, one of which was over 800 pages. So I read 3 books between 500 and 699 pages. I mean, technically I did read 5 books over 500 pages, but I didn't read more than that. And that was the last goal that I had. So then I thought that I could just go through a few goals that I have for 2022. So the first goal that I have is, as I said, 120 books, which is 10 books per month is the goal. And then I also have that I want to read 5 thrillers or horror books, because I've never read a horror book, I've never read a thriller, so that is a goal that I have, that I will read a horror or thriller, 5 in total, 5 horror or thriller, but 5. Then I also have a goal of reading 5 murder mysteries. I am participating in an Agatha Christie read-along, which is 1 Agatha Christie murder mystery book per month. So reading 5 murder mysteries is definitely something that I can do. Then I also said earlier that I wanted to read 10 books in German. But other than that, the last goal that I have is to read 20 books that are translated. No matter if I read them translated to Swedish, to English, or to German, I want to read 20 books that are translated. So there we have it. Those were my reading goals for 2021 and my reading goals for 2022. Please let me know how you did. Did you have any reading goals for 2021? How did you do? Did you complete all of them? Do you have any reading goals for 2022? Please let me know. And thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time. Good reading. Bye.